Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yuba Activist and Adventure Network here. So yesterday we launched a boat and we spent some time out there cleaning. I can tell you all kinds of disgusting stuff is caught up in those algae blooms that are about, the roots of them are about 6 feet down, or the base, or whatever you want to call that. I don't really know about algae, but I can tell you every time I would row an oar through here, we would rake more muck out of the algae. We picked up quite a bit, 2 garbage bags full of trash out of here after the initial cleanup last 2 weeks ago or something. And there's still a lot more in here. You just can't see it because it's feeding and buried in the algae, which smells like raw sewage. Over here, you'll notice we filled that with vegetation. It looks like somebody's using it as a community dumpster and thrown an air conditioner box or something, sadly. So that's one downfall of the dumpster. But some people were asking if we were going to use the whole dumpster and fill it, and pretty much every 2 weeks we get together, we create a dumpster's worth of vegetative brush. A lot of it came from over here in this area that we've manicured nicely. We discovered something kind of weird about this, the suckers on the base of these redwood trees. They've kind of become a creation of their own, generating like cambium layer, where it's like dirt to a certain degree that you can't really cut all that well. This is what the chainsaw did, and my co-workers on this, or co-cleanup crews, hedgers. And see, and then a little windy day and more trash comes. We didn't quite make it over here. I'm sure it would have been easier rowing. In some cases I was mounting on like 3 and 4 inch thick of the algae on the oars. It makes it not so easy. It makes it kind of like the boat was sliding across grass. I can see why some people were frustrated about their motors getting stuck and stuff. All right, we're gonna pause it and I'm gonna show you what else we did. All right, so thanks to the pole saw Charlie Mathews generously lent us, we were able to cut a lot of these lower branches that were dead and hanging on the trees here. And also, I believe these are young cottonwoods over here that have got the same disease we've got going on here, which you can tell is at least mistletoe. Sadly, the pole saw would not reach exactly high enough for me to do that. Plus, you know, I'm only like 5'8" or 9" or something like that with the stenosis and the other cartilage shrinking issues. Probably closer to 5'8" these days. Started out 5'10" in high school. Anyway, enough rambling about that. So we were able to cut off a lot of these lower branches over here by the businesses that you know, should be benefiting from this lake, especially once we get it clean. We started cleaning up a lot of this stuff. This was a big mess. Most of what's in the dumpster we cut out from here. You can see we pulled out the well, I didn't, but others pulled out the floating logs, which were quite heavy in weight. I ended up cutting that up, one of those up. Like I said, I ended up having to switch over to rowing. We started out with 50 the first Saturday we showed up and did this, and we're down to about a skeleton crew of basically the Rosellinis, myself, and a couple, 2 or 3 other random volunteers that'll show up from time to time. I think Bridget and her kids are a regular, and you know, I'm grateful from them. But you can see where those branches are. That's kind of where the floating driftwood was. Water just poured out of the log when I was cutting into it. So we started getting this area cleaned up a little bit. There's obviously still a lot more work to do. Probably only about 2 hours spent over here, and thanks to Charlie Mathews and the pole saw, the Rosellinis and volunteers spent a lot of the time kind of just dragging out the driftwood and then cleaning up the trail of limbs that I cut off from the trees going from here, you know, pretty much over that way. And it was a significant amount of pickup full, a little bit over the bed level. big branches and heavy branches and stuff. Man, we even had the kids, like I said, that you'll see pictures of me in the boat with. They did a great job of pulling trash out. And there was another kid, James, over here with his dad, who I think his name was John, maybe. He looked familiar, but you know, I know a lot of people and can't remember everybody, but good people. The kids, James was doing work, you know, with the loppers, and you know, it was a pretty nice day yesterday. So pretty much that's the recap of what we did. Thank you again, Charlie Mathews. Also, Charlie was here to educate some of us on this Diquat, as we had questions, and in agriculture they use it often. So what'll happen is when they treat this half of the lake, it's only going to kill the plants and the oxygen in this area. Well, the fish know that they like to breathe, so they'll escape to the half of the lake that has not been treated yet, that is full of oxygen. And I can tell you, as thick as this algae is, I don't know how many of them. We did see some fish and frogs, but I would imagine most of them are already over that way, because this area is already pretty being deprived of oxygen by those algae blooms. Like I said, they're like, you could see them down quite a few ways. The water is actually clearer than you know, it looks, especially when you're on top of it. But that Diquat should be the cure. They used it in the 1980s, and people weren't even afraid to eat fish out of here yet at that point in time. So anyway, after you use the Diquat 24 hours later, after the treatment's finished, what's going to happen is basically, according to the FDA and whoever else regulates that, you're able to drink it. Now, I would not be drinking this water, but you know, they wouldn't use it so heavily in agriculture, and it wouldn't be allowed in California if it was so distressing to the environment, which I know many of you have concerns about. But unlike when they shock treated the water, kind of like you would a pool with water bugs or a lot of algae, and it did kill the fish and some ducks, this Diquat does not do that. Like I said, while it does starve the water of oxygen, it does not starve all of the water of oxygen, only where it's treated on top of the algae blooms, leaving the fish a lot of area to go and get to. So if you fish, whenever day they choose to treat the lake with Diquat, you know, I don't know if you can fish in it or not, but that seems like the day to go fishing over on the other side of the lake, maybe over by the ballpark. So anyway, like I said, I don't know about the safety of eating fish out of the treated water, but that's probably where they'll be the next day after that 24 hours expires. So anyway, listen to your city leaders about whether you should be fishing in at that time and the other rules they set. But there's your little recap of the Rosellini cleanup crew for the end of September, Saturday, 2023. Thank you all who showed up. Again, thank you to Charlie Mathews for that pole saw. We were able to get a good jump start on these businesses. I mean, the branches were hanging so low and so much dead wood that you couldn't even get like a view from this side over here onto the lake. We'll continue to work on this side. Thank you to the volunteers who took care of the disabled ramp area. You did a great job cleaning that up. We were originally going to move from where we started by the boat dock over to here, and you know, you guys had already done a great job whenever you came and did that. So we'll be finishing up over here and keeping on moving down the lake and then maintaining. We do Rosellini cleanup crew every 2 weeks, so it won't be this coming Saturday, which I think would be like the 6th or 7th. It would be like closer to the 10th or the 12th or one of those days. I don't have a calendar in front of my way, but the more of you who showed up, the easier this work would go. You know, pretty much, other than a few youngsters, it's a lot of us, and then some, you know, people in other job fields. It's a bunch of us blue collar, older people who've been beaten down by our blue collar jobs. So if we can do it, obviously the work isn't that hard, but the more of you who could come and help, the better. Just leave it on the fountain. You guys have a great day.